We are checking out this book, guys, called Original Gangsters by Ben Westhoff. It is a really detailed book about the East Coast and West Coast gangster rap scene, but mainly the West Coast. Anyway, let's play an excerpt and we're going to come back to my reaction. Hit that thumbs up, man. Appreciate it, guys.
Once, when a cop showed up requesting they turn down their music, Tupac put on NWA's "Fuck the Police" to taunt him. Steinberg was married with kids. Her husband was a successful DJ and promoter, and Tupac's presence in their home created stress in the marriage. But she couldn't help being drawn to the young rapper. She worked relentlessly to help him launch his hip-hop career, networking and helping to spread his music. But when he started gaining success, she refused to accept much money from him, which she attributed to her guilt for my privilege and my whiteness. Before long, Tupac moved to Oakland, where his stepbrother Maurice Shakur, the son of Mutulu Shakur, who became known as Mopreme, had settled after a stint in the army. Mopreme's rap career had been jump-started when he performed a verse on the hit 1990 Tony 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 song, Feels Good. In Oakland, Tupac learned the game, he said, moving through a world of street hustlers. He purchased an AK-47 for protection and briefly sold drugs. For him, dealing was a means to scrape by. But he also understood the perils drugs caused the black community. To see this, he didn't have to look any further than his own mother. And so he and Mopreme began to brainstorm a code of ethics for drug dealers to live by. When you're going through poverty, everybody dibbles and dabbles, Mopreme said. But let's try to be smart about what we're doing. Maybe we can save some lives. Meanwhile, Steinberg introduced Tupac to Atron Gregory, who was NWA's road manager and also managed the rap group Digital Underground, who were based out of Berkeley and Oakland. Bay Area rap jumped off in the late 80s and achieved mass popularity by way of Oakland rappers MC Hammer and Too Short, the latter of whom released a long string of gold and platinum albums and was known for his pioneering street rhymes and pimp stories. Heavily influenced by the funk, the Bay Area hardcore hip-hop scene was just as compelling as LA's, and the early 90s saw the rise of acclaimed gangster rappers like Mac Dre, Spice One, and E40, as well as more playful acts like Souls of Mischief. The constantly evolving Northern California underground scene churned out independently recorded and distributed music, its artists developing styles and slangs that influenced the culture nationwide. Digital Underground, comical and socially conscious, were in a class all their own, and led by the sharp-witted rapper Shock G, who also rhymed as his alter ego, Humpty Hump. Gregory arranged an audition, and Tupac performed a song called Panther Power, wowing the group. It was extremely fortuitous timing. They were just about to release their breakout 1990 album, Sex Packets, featuring enduring party starter, The Humpty Dance. At first, Tupac served as a lowly roadie, carrying the group's luggage and boxes of records when they traveled. He graduated to the role of backup dancer, performing an incredibly enthusiastic version of The Humpty Dance on Arsenio. But Tupac always had his sights on rapping, and finally got a chance when the group was featured in the soundtrack for the 1991 Dan Aykroyd Chevy Chase movie, Nothing But Trouble, performing a verse on Same Song. Now I clown around when I hang around with the underground, he raps on his breezy debut, not an adjective normally applied to Tupac's music. His association with the group, suddenly among the most popular in the country with Sex Packets going platinum, helped him gain connections in the industry, and he worked to launch a solo career. Atron Gregory agreed to manage him and sent around his demo. Numerous labels passed, but Interscope A&R, Tom Wally, whose daughter loved Tupac's tape, agreed to have dinner with him. He just had an aura. I left that first meeting with him incredibly excited. I knew he had something important to say, and that he would create meaning with his art, said Wally, whose admiration for Tupac was seconded by Interscope co-founder Ted Field. Specializing in brutally honest, vivid stories of African American tragedy and triumph, his strong songwriting informed his debut Tupacalypse Now, released on Interscope, Jive, and Tupac's label, Amaru, on November 12, 1991. Though its samples include NWA, Ice Cube, and Public Enemy, it's very much a Bay Area creation, recorded in Richmond, just north of Oakland, and mixed and mastered in San Francisco. Tupac, who had recently turned 20, wrote the lyrics, and the beats were supplied by a melange of producers, including his Digital Underground colleagues. The inset art features an outline of a handgun surrounding his artist name, Tupac. Tupac conceived standout track, Brenda's Got a Baby, after reading about the abandoned newborn of a 12-year-old Brooklyn mother who was rescued from a trash compactor in the nick of time. Brenda shows sympathy for its protagonist, who has a junkie father, a scheming mother, and a boyfriend who's her cousin. She didn't know what to throw away and what to keep. Tupac raps, to heartbreaking effect. Brenda descends into crack and prostitution, and is ultimately found slain. It's a rare song from a male rapper told from the perspective of a woman. Tupacalypse Now went gold. Not a giant hit, but it won him praise as a complex black artist addressing the causes of society's breakdown. Even as Tupac forged ahead with his solo career, he and stepbrother Mo Preem worked on another project, developing a young male rap group. This was the era of teeny bopper rap acts like Another Bad Creation and Crisscross, but they wanted their group to be streetwise. Tupac and Mo Preem recruited kids from poor neighborhoods in Richmond and Oakland and gave them names like the Have-Nots and Young Thugs. The project didn't really get off the ground, but different rotations also included some of Tupac's younger East Coast friends from childhood, like Idi Amin, Yaki Gaddafi, and Tupac's cousin Castro. Together, along with a rapper named Napoleon, they became known as Dramacidal, and would eventually become the core of Tupac's fearsome backing group, the Outlaws. Anger for the verdict. Tupac moved to LA in 1992 while filming Poetic Justice, for which he was recruited by director John Singleton, who admired his work in Juice.
Anyway, man, if y'all want to go ahead and check out the rest of this book, go ahead and check it out. It is on Audible. It's called Original Gangsters. Very, very, very. They get really deep, man, about the intricate part. I think what this book does it puts together the pieces of of certain stories that we've heard of these artists before. Like we've heard the Tupac story before in documentaries and stuff, but it kind of puts together that I didn't know that when he came out to Oakland that he was staying with Geronimo Pratt's wife. While Geronimo Pratt was locked up, he stayed with Geronimo Pratt's wife when he first came to Oakland from New York. And I didn't know the reason why they left New York, because it was something that happened. Somebody had ended up getting it, deleted in YouTube language. So that's why, they end up moving she sent Tupac out first and then she came later. But yeah, interesting book, man. Y'all should go ahead and check it out. It's called Original Gangsters by Ben Westhoff. It's on Audible. Let me know what y'all think, man, in the comments too. Give me the thumbs up button and subscribe to Charles and His World. I appreciate it.